Welcome to Click for IB Biology. We're studying topic D 3.1 reproduction, and we're going to look at the topic of puberty, the development of secondary sexual characteristics. This is a higher level topic only. There's a PDF of this presentation that's linked in down in the description. You can download that and annotate with your own notes, and then there is a 10-question quiz with answers that you can use to evaluate your progress in your learning. So the focus at the initiation of puberty, which of course is the transition from child to adult, taking place variably in age range, but mid-teens, mid to early teens, this puberty process takes place and will result in a sexually mature individual, which is not to say that this individual has gone through adolescence, which is perhaps more of an intellectual brain property. So we're looking at developing sexual maturity. The region of the brain that we should be thinking about is the pituitary once more, and we will now be familiar that with this pituitary, this P-like structure that hangs from the base of the hypothalamus, is going to be releasing hormones that are going to bring about this transition from child to sexually mature adult. The hormone that is released from the hypothalamus is a gonadotropin releasing hormone, and this is reduced to the GnRH. This is produced in the hypothalamus and travels through the bloodstream to the anterior pituitary, where it brings about in both biological sexes, that is male and female, it will result in the production of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So this is common in both sexes. It's the same secretions from the anterior pituitary. Of course, the target of these is different. In the target in males is the testes, and the target in females is the ovary. With the secretion of LH and FSH in males, we bring about the development what are called secondary sexual characteristics, characteristics which are shown in sexually mature individuals. Happening mid-teens, it's initiated, the changes are initiated by testosterone, and that testosterone is produced from the testes, in fact, in a group of cells called the Leydig cells, which are the target of the hormones that we've discussed. And as with many hormones, there are multiple targets for testosterone as shown here. You do not need to learn the structure of testosterone for the examination, but one should be aware that it is a steroidal hormone. So steroidal hormone brings about an increase in muscle mass. It brings about an increase in the length of the long bones, and hence one becomes taller. It changes the length of the vocal cords, and this leads to a deepening of the voice. There's an initiation of spermatogenesis within the seminiferous tubules of the testes, and there would also be a growth in the reproductive organs, the penis and the testes as well. So the hormone testosterone is shown here, and it has receptors in multiple target tissues. Now the LH and the FSH, from the anterior pituitary bring about the development of the secondary sexual characteristics of women, characteristically enlargement of breast tissue, growth of body hair, the development of the thigh muscles behind the femur is often seen, widening of the hips, all reproductive strategies, of course. Facial features often change, waist sometimes reduce in size, and there's a redistribution of the weight and fat, all which follows the effects that luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone have on the ovary. And in particular, the initial targets of LH and FSH, LH and FSH, are on the primordial or primary follicles within the ovary. So these are structures, something like this. They are sphere-like structures of diploid cells within the ovary, and within that is the actual egg cell. But the changes that we see here are a consequence of the hormone estrogen, and that estrogen is produced from these follicular diploid cells traveling through the blood clearly to multiple targets, all of which have receptor molecules. And in this way, males and females make the change from child to sexually mature adults under the influence of the hormones estrogen and progesterone, but triggered by the initial release of the gonadotropin releasing hormone LH and FSH from the anterior pituitary, and the consequences as we've outlined here. What we're going to do now is to look at some of the reproductive details which rise as a consequence of these changes. There's a link to those videos on the left-hand side, a chance to subscribe to the channel, which is greatly appreciated always, and there's the playlist to all the D3.1 reproduction videos.